Welcome back to News Across Nigeria, where we bring you what's happening across the states of the Federation. We move over to the northwest now. A combined team of security operatives in Kaduna State have recovered 1,232 cows and other livestock from cattle rustlers in Birnin-Gwari local government area of the state. The combined team of military, police, and SSS operatives recovered the stolen animals and also arrested some of the armed rustlers during a raid inside the deadly Kamuku and Koyunbana forest in the local government area. The forests are located within the borders of Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, Niger, Kebbi, and Sokoto states. Spokesman for the Kaduna State Governor, Samuel Aruwan, says a total number of 295 sheep and 14 donkeys were also recovered inside the two forests during the raid. And now to some politics. In Bayelsa State, the south-south part of the country, where Governor Seriake Dickson has described the recent wave of defection from the PDP to the APC in the state as a huge disappointment and called the decampees an embarrassment to the Ijaw nation. The state, which has been traditionally PDP-controlled, can no longer be viewed as a core PDP state. This is as a result of the heavy wave of defections that is ongoing in the political climate of Bayelsa State.
The drumming has returned and the sounds of the horns resonate, bringing back the feeling of a political season when rallies arrive. The attention is on Bayelsa State, where governorship election will take place in about 4 months. The opposition party, the All Progressives Congress in the state, is throwing a party, and the reason for the festivity is to welcome some members of the ruling People's Democratic Party, the PDP. The APC national chairman, former governor of the state, party chieftains and supporters are on hand to receive the new converts.
Make sure it sits clean. Welcome to the APC.
That signals the crossing over and acceptance of a mandate to make their defection count.
We have always been part of the power structure in this country. So when you vote, December 5, we will now have 2 progressive states in the South-South. When you and your friends and brothers have come back together once again, then you are complete. Today, the APC in Bayelsa State is complete.
Of course, the decampees have their reasons for leaving the PDP.
It is individuals that make a party, not a party making individuals. We that are decamping today were those who made the PDP. And today, we have killed the PDP.
Great heaven is our portion. We will sweep them away.
The movement of the PDP members did not go down well with the ruling party in the state and has generated reactions. For the state governor, this is not time to lay accusations, but a time for the people to support the party he believes has turned the state around for good.
You, the ordinary person who has been suffering, who didn't have a road, now you can drive to Nembe, you can almost drive to Puruma Point where we want to launch the bridge. You should understand. You can see the jobs going on, electrification projects all over in the state. You should understand that these people, what these people are fighting for, they are not fighting for you. That it is the restoration government that is your partner, your ally, that you should support and work for and pray for.
December 5 is the scheduled date for elections. The reality is the Bayelsa State, known to be the state of the former President Goodluck Jonathan and has been tagged a PDP state, will be up for a keenly contested elections.
You're watching News Across Nigeria. Now we have in the studios with me our political correspondent, Seun Okinbaloye, the man I like to call Mr. Politics today.
Yeah.
And that is your forte, Seun. We saw the governor. He's visibly upset. Putting it in context for our viewers, with the governorship elections in December and this defection en masse happening now, what does that mean for the PDP?
You see, defections have become a commonplace in Nigeria's politics when elections are coming. And you see, one thing that is strategic that you need to look at when there is a defection is the caliber and the kind of persons that are defecting. And that actually will be a pointer to whether or not is an advantage or a disadvantage. Now, for example, let's take a look at some of the guys that defected. For example, a former chairman of the PDP in Bayelsa State moving to the APC, he sends a lot of message. Someone like Timi Alaibe moving to the APC, he sends a lot of signals. These are somewhat the political bigwigs in the PDP. And before now, you know what the PDP is in Bayelsa State. There was nothing like APC before now. And ACN before now, CPC does not really have a ground. ACN does not have a much strong hold in Bayelsa State. But with the coming of the APC, there seems to be a more trying to get relevance. And in fact, at that particular rally, you will hear a former governor, Timi Percival, saying, look, their house was not in order, but they're trying to put it in order. So a PDP, one of the states that you will say this is probably a traditionally PDP state is Bayelsa State. If you look at the last elections, you will see that none of the states in the South Side was won by the APC. All the states of the South Side was won by the PDP. It sends a clear message that there's some, whatever PDP will say it has a stronghold is in a place like Bayelsa State. And when you see this kind of defection, it should actually naturally trouble the PDP fold.
The timing of this defection just before the elections, is it instructive? Seems like a plan.
You see, one thing that is very strategic is that you see political heavyweights, what they try to do is to be strategic with their defections. And they look at the timing of it. Look, it's 3-4 months to the elections.
Exactly.
The election is December the 5th. And look, if anybody is moving now, they see it as a very strategic moment. Because the kind of people that are moving, the timing of your movement, the caliber of people that are moving, they matter in this kind of defections. Moving at this very critical time for the PDP, for some of the PDP fold, is very strategic, and it can shake the party. It's just for the party to know early. It's an advantage for the party because as these people have moved, it gives them the opportunity to say, okay, how many of us remains now, and how can we strategize ahead of the election? It gives them another 3 months window to be able to say, okay, what is the stronghold? I mean, what's the strong area of the opposition in the state, and how can we fight? As no matter what happens now, the APC still remains an opposition party in Bayelsa State.
I'm thinking that, okay, the people of Bayelsa are watching. The people who are defecting are the core PDP members. What do you think they'll be making of this movement? You think that they'll lose faith in the PDP? They'll say, okay, all is not well, and so all of us will have to follow the leaders of the party, because the people you mentioned are leaders in the party.
All right, let me just give you, let me bring this. There are 4 basic tribes and languages in Bayelsa State. And you know, Bayelsa State has a huge, is a huge oil-producing state in Nigeria. Yes. The Izon, the Nembe, the Pierre Atisa, and the Obia people of Bayelsa State. These people, unlike a state that has just basically one language that they speak, for example, in a state like Ogun State or Osun State, they probably will speak only one language, Yoruba. But in this kind of state, it's a bit diffuse. So ethnic divide also come to play in politics, in a governorship election. But this time around, if you look at the history of the state from 1999 up to this time, this is a state that was created in 1996. From 1999, relatively young state. If you look at it from 1999 up to this time, we have seen that PDP from Depre Alamesia to Goodluck Jonathan to Timi Silva to Henry Seriake Dickson, it's been PDP all along. So traditionally, the sense of the fact that...
Sorry to interrupt you, that's where the former president...
Goodluck Jonathan
is from. And what does that say of his influence in his home state?
I mean, if we count it will count. You cannot take away the fact, the influence of someone who was who was a deputy governor, who became a governor, who eventually became a vice president, and eventually became a president. You can't take away that kind of influence that he has on the state. And the fact that, look, the power of incumbency too will play a lot of role. But again, this kind of defection which has put a challenge to the ruling party that, look, the game might not just be the same. We're going to fight to finish. But again, you will look at it that, look, the kind of people that are moving to the PDP, how much weight can they carry? How much vote can they swing to the APC? APC remains an opposition party in the state, and they will be saying what they will be saying. They do not actually have any much to campaign for because they've not been in power. But what they will be campaigning is going to be based on what the PDP has done in the state. Yes. And the PDP too will be campaigning based on what they have done.
Is the PDP still popular in Bayelsa State, do you think?
Definitely. I mean, if you go onto the street...
Do the people support the PDP? Do they think that the governor has done a good job?
Just like you
public sentiment, right? Is what I'm asking.
The PDP, the power of incumbency will play a lot of role. You'll find the people who naturally, because of the air of who occupies the seat, naturally will support him, of course. And when people are campaigning about change, which the APC will bring onto the table now, naturally they will find their own supporters too. So it's too early to call to say, oh, who has more supporters? If you look at the rally, you might just be confused based on what eventually will pan out. But as it stands now, it's too early to call. The two parties are throwing their weight. It just then comes to the fact that eventually they do not even have a candidate yet. The PDP don't have a candidate. It's still the fact that if the PDP go into a primaries, they will still have to decide whether the incumbent governor is going to return, and the APC will have to decide who becomes their candidate. Now, they are looking at a couple of people, but who becomes the candidate and how can that person contest favorably with the candidates of the PDP is going to be a very big one.
In other words, 2 + 2 would not equal 4, as you always say.
It's always very confusing. It doesn't go on to the last minute. They say that a day, 24 hours is a long time in politics.
It's a long time in politics.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Shehu.
You're welcome.
Political correspondent Shehu Kimbaloye giving us an insight into Bayelsa State politics with the defection of PDP members to the All Progressives Congress. We're going to take another break. Still to come on news across Nigeria, community news in Ebonyi State. Stay with us.